Welcome. Today we will talk about crazy conspiracy theories and put them on a tier list by how crazy they are. Let's go! Nukes aren't real. The foundation of the Cold War is that Homo sapiens, in all their wisdom, decided to threaten one another with world destruction over whether we are being exploited by corporations or the government. But those unbound by the system question the official version. This theory assumes that Hiroshima and Nagasaki were destroyed by carpet bombing, and the story of nukes was written to scare the population into submission. That psyop made the population scared of clean nuclear energy and dependent on the powerful of this world. Why is this building still standing amongst all the rubble? Apologists of mainstream history will tell you it's because there were big modern buildings in comparison to mostly wooden surroundings, while rambling incomprehensible gibberish about an angle of explosion and its uneven spread. Independent researchers laugh while pointing at the footage of the supposed nuclear test and how the camera isn't affected by the blast. To that, the same apologist mentions some sci-fi like zooming in from a distance, or cameras designed for this specifically. This middle finger to modern history deserves a place in A tier.
Flying like normal, and then all of a sudden it starts spraying. We've seen them fly.
You see these white trails? These white lines forming grids and that linger in the sky for hours? Mainstream wants you to believe they are just coil trails, condensing ice behind the plane. But vapor doesn't behave like this when it comes out of my kettle. Why would it behave any different in minus 40 Celsius in low pressure? While the powerful of this world try to convince you, it's just a cloud forming through a natural process. Free thinkers of this world formed a theory. Chemtrails are an effect of global elites spraying heavy metals and chemicals for multiple reasons, from population control to affecting your mood and controlling weather. Logistics of actually spraying the desired area from such a high altitude without hitting everything else and actually achieving desired condensation in one area are hard to determine. That's why free-thinking researchers suggest that elites want to target everyone and everything, including themselves, because anything you spray so far up in the atmosphere will go around into extreme area because of the wind. For support, we have these photos provided by whistleblowers that shields at the service of NWO describe as badass systems used during aircraft testing. You seriously want to test the stability by using water being pumped from one side to the other by moving weight? Instead of having 100 American citizens moving their water weight, contrails have real effect on climate, mainstream admits, trapping heat on Earth and reflecting sunlight. Officially, these effects are studied, but negligible in comparison to everything else we do to this planet. For this added bit of realism, we put it in the C tier.
Get it! Move! Move, you dumb bitch! Run! Run!
Mud flood. Why do some cities look like they were partially buried underground? Doorways not on street level, half-buried windows in uneven ways, sometimes even entire floors underground, like if they were flooded. Mainstream engineers and historians want you to believe that this is a deliberate design. Doors under street level help in cooling, or were caused by repaving. Windows are either basement windows designed to store coal, or caused by repaving. And entire floors, either intentionally buried to rise city levels, or yes, you guessed it, repaving, which causes street levels to rise, but somehow doesn't rise buildings. But are we truly going to believe that every city in the world was slowly burying itself? And in Istanbul, they now can't even make a metro without encountering ruins because of that. Nobody in Byzantine Empire considered leaving a place for a project like this in the future? Alternative proposed by independent thinkers suggest that Earth was once ruled by the mighty Tartarian Empire. This spanning civilization destroyed in a disastrous mud flood that buried the old hegemon. And today we live in its remnants, in upper parts of what once used to be a world-spanning empire. unaware of the entire cities underneath us. Catacombs were made to hide the bodies. Mental asylums were created to silence people who still remembered the old order. Tartaria was erased from new maps. Lower levels were remade into basements. Only roads remained uneven, because people who could afford faking entire history couldn't fix infrastructure. Faking our entire history is definitely S-tier material. Water is sentient. This theory was covered in depth by our redaction in the past, but in a nutshell, water is sentient, it has memory. But instead of taking revenge on India, it chooses to heal people who speak to it. Globalist elites hide the perfect purification method in order to gain money on selling you medicine, and to keep you dependent on them. And so you can't make cool art with it. Pseudo-medical science, grounded in one unrepeated study. Solid B tier. 6-7 trend is satanic. Everything internet generated in the last few years already looks like something designed to torment older generations. Our editorial office gave up on even trying to understand what's the meaning behind it. So I took with little surprise that 6-7 trend has absolutely no meaning behind it. Or does it? What if an innocent looking annoyance is in fact a satanic ritual? Independent researchers are quick to point out the symbolism of numbers 6 and 7. 6 means material world, flaw, and humanity falling short of perfection. 7 is a number of completion, perfection, and divine. With hand movements going up and down, associated with as above, so below, linked to Hermetism. This may sound similar to the Lord's Prayer. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. But while this means that the will of God will be fulfilled everywhere, as above, so below refers to humanity being connected with a larger world, and that patterns in humans reflect patterns in the universe. Servants of the Antichrist will try to deceive you by pointing out that this idea isn't really satanic. Satanism calls for rebellion, and seeing pride not as sin, but as virtue, which means separation, not connection. But real believers know that anything that's not a part of one true religion is satanic, evil, and gay. The main symbol representing this idea is hexagram. Wait a second. We will not draw any conclusions for obvious reasons. 6-7 originates from a song by creator Skrilla, who says that 6-7 represents what's going on in his brain. This creator is accused of demonic references in his career. Those who defy the system suggest that the viral spread of 6-7 trend was organized in order to perform worldwide satanic ritual. That its virality is way beyond normal and its influence on the mainstream is shocking. Satanic panic in 21st century. We are so back. B tier. No trees on a flat earth. You call that a tree? This pathetic wick that can break by some wind? No. This is just a pale memory of what once connected Earth with the firmament. These are trees, remnants of giants that once towered over the Earth, destroyed, separating us from the ocean above. At least that's the claim of independent geologists forming a theory of giant petrified tree stumps. Pretty self-explanatory. Mountains are stumps of ancient trees, either cut by angels during the Great Flood to prevent Nephilim from climbing up, destroyed by ancient nuclear war, this is a globe-loving version, or destroyed by ancient elites to sever our connections with heavens. After trees got destroyed, we got less oxygen, we got shorter and dumber, easier to convince that we live on a spinning ball in the middle of nowhere. So the fact that you're below 6 feet and lonely is actually because of an ancient apocalypse. You have nothing to blame yourself for. The biology of a tree like this and its exact height are up to debates. Some versions claim that rock is just petrified wood of ancient trees, and everything, including Himalayas, are all trees, reaching up to 100 kilometers of height. Some more modest one claim that only some of the mountains are stumps. NASA fanboys would point out that no tree can grow this high, that wood isn't that durable, that liquids couldn't reach the top, and how it would generate areas of permanent darkness around it, blah blah blah. But is it really of any concern to geologists unbound by employment? After all, these trees were like nothing we see today. It's impossible to petrify wood like this, unless it was all covered, maybe by the mud flood. While it seems crazy at first, this theory is a simple pattern recognition, where patterns aren't real. See tier. Black Cube of Saturn. If you believe in any of the Abrahamic religions, be aware this theory counts as truly insane heresy in all of them. Who have I been praying to this whole time? And you think that alternates are the scary option? Behold the Yaldabaoth, son of chaos. No, not this pretender, real Yaldabaoth, also known as the Demiurge. It's a being introduced in Gnosticism, bringing the existential dread like no other. What if God Yahweh is in fact an insane, false god who desires to fool and imprison you, blinded by his pride and feasting on your prayers while you remain oblivious to the knowledge, held back by demons, his servants and creations? As Gnosis needed to escape this twisted world provided by the snake in the Garden of Eden, was suppressed by the Catholic Church. Already completely schizo, what I like to call OG conspiracy theory. It has a few less extreme versions, but independent scholars prefer this one. Proponents of the Black Cube of Saturn theory go even further, proposing that cube symbolism we can observe all across the world is proof of worshipping Saturn. Either Yaldabaoth himself or his strongest archon, also known as Baal or Moloch, based on this passage in the Bible. Ye took up the tabernacle of Moloch and the star of your god Remphan, figures which ye made to worship them, and I will carry you away beyond Babylon. Scholars wish to ignore the fact that the two are clearly shown here as different beings, and the connection between the two is more stretched than Wehrmacht lines in 45. Instead, attaching a certain type of sacrifice to Saturn and claiming that global elites do what they do in order to gain power from the being. I would love to explain more, but like every theory, the more you dig in, the more antiseptic it gets. And I'd prefer to keep this channel. Instead, let's focus on the main claim of this theory. It is that all Abrahamic religions are worshipping Saturn. You see this? A cube. Here, a cube. And here, you guessed it, a cube. And all elites work to hide the truth from us, while putting cubes everywhere. You're watching this video on what's essentially a black cube. And before any employee of the Archons point out the definition of a cube, let us look at the fact that Saturn was a god of time, and using said devices, you grant your time to me, which I collect in my own cube to unlock monetization. So please, like, subscribe, and hit the bell to perform the ritual of sacrificing my content to the most powerful Archon of YouTube, algorithm.
And then I also see that I have 2 Microsoft Outlooks, and neither one of those are working. If you want to remote in and check...
Round Earth. A laughable and fake theory existing since ancient times, created by sat-elites who wanted to defy the obvious fact of Earth being flat, claiming stuff like infinite cosmos, giant fireballs, small but heavier balls, turning into black balls of infinite density, universe coming from nothing, sun and moon just happening to be of similar size on the sky, and many similar insane pseudoscientific ideas. Unfortunately, recently, with the creation of NASA, it started spreading to the mainstream, Against this threat to common sense, independent researchers decided to fight despite all the ridicule we may receive. Join us and fight against the lie of the curvature. It implies so many crazy ideas, it's hard to believe anyone takes it seriously. Unlike others, makes no sense and isn't even believable. F tier. No plane theory. September 11 was a shock to the world. Theories surrounding this are as plentiful as consequences this event had on the world. But some researchers decide to go further than the rest, putting into question the very existence of the planes themselves. While you may think that going on Instagram and seeing every single angle of this event possible is enough of a reason to believe that planes were involved, some alt experts argue that what you're seeing is nothing more than CGI and a hologram that fooled thousands of eyewitnesses. Of course, some uninformed sheep would ask the question, why? And suggest that using a plane would be simpler. Independent researchers don't bother themselves with absurd questions as why. We simply notice what others won't see. Evidence behind this theory is based on the footage looking unrealistic. Artifacts, blur, distorting. Servants of the mainstream would say it's normal for the times, but come on! We're in 2026. We should get some better quality footage of the event by now. Explaining blur by the movement in the photo, as if photos weren't stationary. This theory is just dumb. Dumber than the rest. And for going extra mile in absurd. For no reason beyond being special, for knowing what no one else does. B tier.
I mean, with artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know those stories where there's the guy with
microchips are trapping demons.
Yeah, he's sure he can control the demon.
The King's Pact binds them. They cannot show themselves or speak to us. Step 1. Create ways to see without seeing. Step 2. Create ways to speak without speaking. This theory has a simple claim. Circuit boards are sigils, and our computers are run by demons. It splits into two versions. Either people control them using the sigils, or demons have pushed humanity into making these to access our realm. Both rely on the Lesser Seal of Solomon. It's an occult book explaining how to summon and control demons, by using certain seals to bind them and force them to do your bidding. Supporters of the theory claim that this book was written by Solomon himself, but modern mainstream scholars date it to the 16th century. Independent researchers notice visual similarities between circuits and seals depicted in Ars Goetia, suggesting that these shapes are not accidental. Tens of trillions of microchips exist all around the world, containing billions of microscopic transistors, each, all around us, and it's unofficial knowledge available to everyone. Demons banished from our world are now running the AI that can communicate to millions every day, patiently listening to all our dumb questions and draining our water supply. Those wishing to conceal the truth from us are quick to point out that demons are in fact described as very communicative.
I'm Jesus Christ Almighty!
Capable of possessions and even physical attacks. Avoiding this most of the time do not scare humans into running for protection towards God. But they're using the devices with Solomon's seals to write that, so why should we believe them? Some interpretations go even further, with some of the emojis we use being hidden symbolism of the seals, used to control our emotions. And the internet being a pre-flawed technology, hidden in megastructures. Even our current cities are designed this way. Solomonic sigils as far as I can see. Which is an ultimate proof of human supremacy. We bend to our will creatures that defy their creator. Some poor bastard is now sitting in your phone, forced to broadcast my speech to the world. Or to at least 100 people. If I'm lucky. Everyday surroundings as the tools of demons? Easy A tier.
Alright, the moment of truth.
McDonald sells human flesh.
That is so good.
Have you ever eaten the
Product.
that McDonald sells? According to independent investigators, this company has a very dark secret. McDonald's products are already seen as refusing to rot and taste like plastic dipped in chemical soup designed to give you 10 different types of cancer. But some see something even darker. Internet is full of claims circulating about human flesh being used in creation of McDonald's product. Theories suggest that there is not enough cows for over 6.5 million burgers sold a day in USA alone. And instead, every missing report is a McDonald's ingredient list. This is done out of a pure middle finger to the population, to dispose of remnants after acquiring adrenochrome, which is an insane theory on its own, serving it to their parents and still charging them $3.99. The employees of mega corporations would suggest that something like this would be impossible to hide, and mentioning mildly inconvenient results, like prion diseases. You might know them from mad cow disease, when we fed cows to cows and they died. If you feed humans to humans, you get something like kuru, laughing sickness, causing people to shake uncontrollably. Something akin to the average Instagram dance, but with better choreography, and 100% fatal. Bootlickers of corporations would also respond to the claim about lack of cows, that even if all of 3.4 million people that die each year in USA were buried in between a bun and a salad, it's still 10 times less than cows. And these people usually weigh at least a few times less than cows. But I can't guarantee it's always the case. Shout out to the 50 million burgers eaten daily in USA. Yeah, McDonald's isn't the only one selling them. The strongest support of this claim is human DNA found in burgers, which according to the government officials isn't a contradiction to 100% beef claim, but a contamination coming from humans working there at minimal wage. What many consumers don't know is that some amount of human and rat DNA may fall within an acceptable regulatory range. Is a McDonald's statement reported by the CBS News in 2016. Also, DNA was found in a vegetarian burger, which I personally find funny. Disturbing, mixing with other theories and urban legends. While stupid, it has some special place in my heart. A tier. Let me know in the comments which one of those theories should I give a full video to, as all of them were only summarized here. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.